One of the other ideas to address over here is cost is one factor. We repeatedly hear the theme that environmental impact has an overall cost to your generation, perhaps 3 or 2 decades. You're hearing about climate change, hearing about different sides about that picture. But for us as design engineers, if we look at that as, oh, this is a design constraint, then we can design products by taking into account the constraint posed by economic impact. And the EduPack package allows you as a design engineer to explore whether design considerations can be affected by addressing economic impact, and then accordingly look at the trade-offs made between producing a component with one level of economic impact as opposed to another. And so this not only relates to the energy that is used and the form that is used, but the material that is used and how it is discarded. It goes into other things in terms of the emissions during production, during end of use, so on and so forth. And so these are different forms of sustainable development. And increasingly, we are also coming across certain terms related to um, the circular economy. What does that mean? We'll look at it shortly. But largely, here is an example where if you looked at for the same energy that is used to transport people from one place to another, right? It clearly depends on a number of people sitting on this train, right? And so that is one type of consideration. On the other hand, there's another type of consideration in terms of safety, comfort, and overall cost and economic impact in terms of sustainability. If you're going to the other extreme, which we are more familiar with. So, how do we analyze these types of situations and accordingly target the production of products based on the impact to the environment, the overall cost, their safety, the legal issues, how socially accepted is this, right? These are some things that go into the consideration of sustainable development, right? Meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This has been the long-standing view at the UN in terms of what sustainable development means. And there is an opportunity for us to filter out the political debate around it, but just look at it strictly as design engineers. If there is a market for products that are sustainable, there are customers that are willing to buy it, then how do we look at designing products around that market need, right? Look at it simply in a capitalist basis. Can you make money out of it? And the short answer is maybe, and depends on the situation and what the trade-offs might be with other aspects, right? In terms of costs, in terms of performance, and in terms of appeal to the customer. So, in sustainability considerations, you have materials related choices, energy related choices, environmental impact considerations during the design, right? There's a legality. So, legislation makes a big difference in terms of creating an appetite for certain market. So, for instance, the ROS set of legislations that was started out in Europe and then propagated quickly to the rest of the manufacturing world across the globe for electronic components in particular, redefine what materials could be used, how things could be manufactured, and how things could be disposed, right? And then there are social implications as well in terms of the ethics, in terms of the inclusivity and equity and accessibility, right? So this is a complex considerations, but it provides great opportunities for the design engineer to connect to these possibilities and factor that into their design. So one type of a consideration, just like we had for instance, on the y-axis, ultimate tensile strength or density or modulus over density as a um, material index. These could be plotted on one hand, but the embodied energy, right? The amount of energy consumed for synthesizing a particular material, in this case polymers, it can be plotted in the scatter plot. Similarly, carbon dioxide footprint, right? How much carbon CO2 is emitted during the synthesis of these materials. That type of data is available in EduPack as well. And we can go ahead and do optimization when we begin to chart out competition between the yield strength required and the overall energy for the production of that component, which is density times the embodied energy, which is joules per kilogram. This can be plotted. Mainly, you end up getting these bubble charts, and then depending upon the material index under consideration, you can filter out some options and pre-select some options over here where you have the highest yield strength for a given embodied energy. Across the literature that we'll scan during midterm 2, we'll see examples across widely ranging material choices, applications, and energy related issues as case studies. And that will allow us to explore more of these concepts during midterm 2. But largely, we have the sustainability database that captures all these different considerations, economics, the human angle, and so on. Look forward to continuing these discussions. During the next 3 weeks, we will look at literature review of papers, just like you had in midterm 1, but closely looking at case studies of material selection, process selection, and shape selection that were compiled by your fellow students over the recent times. And I look forward to sharing that with you and getting you exposed to the applications of these concepts through these case studies. Talk to you then.